Yo, what up, guys? We're back at it. You know how it be? We got Feixiaoo here. Um, yeah, time to review. All right, so off the bat, I already like how you have a lot of swap outs. I'm expecting pretty good gameplay here, and I like how your shield bash sitting, and you're hitting 8 out of 10 shots, which is pretty safe. On the first one, it's like extremely safe to hit 10, but you really just need to get used to it. Obviously, you can like die pretty easily, but yeah, so yeah. Okay, so for this panic and scream, like I respect the sitting, but me personally, I would get a little closer because I don't know. There's just something off about these O spells. Like I'm not really sure if like all of them are hitting. I know like I have some friends who do like extensive analyzing on this, but I wouldn't be able to tell you that like 16 shots are hitting here, and it doesn't look like it based off of the damage numbers. So I mean, I would just be a little closer, especially during the stagger. So like right here, I would definitely just pop like on him. Also, I really like how you used a lot of MP pots. So yeah. So the reason Feixiaoo does this. So okay, like I want to take note of something here actually, which is really interesting. So he's sitting here for shield bash sit, right? And look at him. He just moves up and down whenever, like, let's say there's a guard. So like he goes down. By the way, I wouldn't recommend this. I'd probably just stay on the actual boss, and I'll show you why later. But so he just goes up and down, and this for the next panic and scream, he does the same exact thing. He uses a bunch of MP pots, and then he's still ready to be shield bash sitting. Okay, so right here, I noticed how you went on top of him, and this is an okay play. This is what a wizard like probably a year ago would do, but you're actually fine right here. He will go to you, let's say, okay, so you're on the left of him a little, and the only way for him to get dragged off is if someone else takes the drag, which is pretty greedy, but this will usually not happen because, okay, let's say if I was in this run, I would see you sit on him like this, and then I would be on the side EPing and not take any damage. I'll show an example of this really quick. As you can see on this clip, someone is sitting on the boss, which causes him to mainly shoot to the right, and you're pretty safe on the left. As you can see, Austria doesn't know about this, so he backs off while I just full EP him and I'm full HP. But yeah, like you can be on the side of him for the first EP and it's really safe, especially if there's someone sitting by themselves. So another thing here is that you could tank the first one, and because you have almost 1,000 HP, you can actually tank the second one, especially if you have HP pots. So you can tank the first 2 shotguns, which are 2 of these arrows and then plus 3 arrows. It's around, I'm pretty sure it's around 600 to 800 damage that it does. So, okay, what I like right here is that, like, it was a little delayed, and it's not your fault, but right here, right? So you do this, and then you, like, grab your EP to try and side EP, which is really nice. So here's what I'll teach for anyone who doesn't know. If O3 is on a decoy, and you should have really good trust on this decoy, you can actually just side EP him right here, and I'll show another example of that as well, where you can just basically just be full EPing, and depending on how long the decoy is, he won't slip. So what's really nice is that when it's pre-exalted and you have 1,000 HP and you're not taking damage, which is really good here, you can actually do this really safely, even if the decoy isn't good or you don't know who's decoying, because if anything, it slips and then you just tank like 2 or 3 shotguns and you'll be fine, because tanking 2 or 3 while you're full HP doesn't really do anything, and after that, it's a pretty easy phase when it's pre-exalted, and you can figure out how to maneuver out of your current situation. Okay, so what I'm gonna say, I already mentioned this, but when it's guarded, I notice some people do this where they'll like run away from the guard, which is like a bad habit, and I understand why you're doing it. You don't want to make it seem like you're blasting, but I usually just sit on him, like depending on the phase. If I'll take damage if I completely sit on him, then I won't sit on him, of course, but like it's better to just sit next to him, and I'm guessing you're using auto fire, but if you're not, which I would recommend not to, just not using auto fire. It's better to actually control your aim with your left mouse button. So if you're using auto fire, like obviously you want to get off of him like this because like you might just be hitting him with your EPs. But yeah, I wouldn't get off, or at least that far off. Okay, this is nice. I would have probably rotated it a little like closer to him. Also, like just so your superior is hitting like all 4 shots here. But yeah, this is good. Okay, so this is. Okay, wait. Let's watch this back. You're playing with opacity like 10%, so you can see that someone's sitting on him. But I'm pretty sure he just like leaves. I'm not sure why he dips, but yeah. So you definitely need to be swapping to tier 14. And in a phase like this, what I'll usually do is just like have Snake Eye equipped and just use my Snake Eye so I can run around like wherever he's gonna go. If I know that let's say he's not being shield sat, I'll just use my Snake Eye and then just run wherever he is. I have the benefit though because like I have the Amulet of Lightning, which is 3 seconds instead of 2 seconds, so it's like an upgraded Snake Eye. So yeah. So you want to obviously be swapping a tier 14 here and following, and you swap to Snake Eye, but just a little late. You basically missed out on all the damage here. So this is like really insane. Like I haven't seen many wizards do this, and what I'll say like is I can tell that you watch like TAU because like no one else is gonna do this. I've never seen like anyone else do this, where you run up on a phase like this so easily and so like it's like second nature, and you just do it. And obviously you could be hitting more shots, and because you're hitting 6 out of 4, 6 out of 10 right now, you can just press D once here, and then you'll just be hitting like either 8 or 10. It's pretty safe. So at least once the shield bash circle leaves, you should be moving. So yeah, you should have moved. I mean, I would have moved like while the shield bash circle was still there, but especially when the shield bash circle like left, you should have positioned yourself to be hitting 8 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 right here. So yeah. And obviously you can't EP that, so you're missing your tablet. Okay, so look at this. You're dumping all your tablets on this for no reason. There's literally no reason to be dumping these tablets on this. First of all, I have to concede my point that I've made in the past that tablet is the almighty ability, because it's not. And in this case especially, you should be using Paraspell if you want, but you really don't. Like in 2024, the strat is to be mana conserving and not just dumping like this. Unless in specific cases, you should be dumping your mana like with tablet in small runs. But for this, look, you're gonna be at like what, 0 mana. And okay, so he does shield bash shits. But if you was to do like, let's say Fury Melts, you could have put 1 O spell on, when instead, if you didn't dump all your mana, you could have used 2. And if you conserved well, let's say you would have 300 mana, use 2 O spells, you'd have 100 mana left over. And then during the Fury Melt phase, let's say it doesn't stagger, then it goes into Panic or Splendor or whatever, and you could just full EP with your O spell. But because you dumped all your mana in the previous phase, and you missed, which I won't even like talk about. Let's say you hit all this, it still wouldn't be worth, because you could be using O spell on next phases. So yeah. Okay, so right here, this is really nice. This is a good shield bash sit. You're hitting 8 out of 10 shots, which is completely safe. However, you're using O spell, and it's impossible to hit all O spells while you're EPing like this. It's just not. So it's better to use Paraspell because of the 60 PS stats that you get from Paraspell while wearing it, and you could be using that on your EPs, which is really nice. Okay, so right here, like, I will definitely do not just... Hold on, I need to explain this better, actually. Okay, so look, in the previous phase, it reset to the middle, right? And then it did one phase, which is inner rotates, and then it went to shield bash sits. Okay, so, like, if you were to stay still here, and not move off, you could possibly, there's a chance that it goes back into another shield bash. I mean, disregard the fact that it went into Exalted, but let's say your group DPS was ass. You shouldn't be moving off here, because shield bash sits guard, stagger into a guard can go into another shield bash sit, so by moving off, it really decreases the chances of you hitting another shield bash sit on a shield bash sit, because obviously it's risky to get on this boss when there's a shield bash circle on it. So yeah, luckily it went to Exalted. So right here, what you should be instantly doing. What I do personally is rotate the screen so that O3 is like parallel where I need to be looking at him for Exalted Shield Bash hits, which is the opposite of normal Shield Bash hits. I'm not gonna always explain what Shield Bash hits is and how to do it on this channel because I seem to be doing it every single day, but like you just need to learn to be either behind him or in front of him. So yeah. So right here, he reset from that circle, so the line's right here. You need to be 180 of him. So like just right here on for Exalted Shield Bash hits, but it seems like you didn't do it. So yeah. Alright, right here, nice. The towers went up and you got your tier 14 out. So okay, so here's what I noticed. I feel like so a lot of people ask me, do I focus on my aim or positioning more? And I will say that like I focus on my positioning more because I've already learned how to like aim with my mouse really well, but I feel like in this specific moment you're tanking too many shots for you to be focusing on your positioning, and I think you should be focusing on your positioning because the positioning is the most important thing in O3. Like post combat update, if you're getting hit, it's more important to actually just not be getting hit, and that's why someone who's using like auto dodge does so much damage on like a new account because they're just getting like a bunch of mana for free because they're not getting hit. They could do more damage than someone like technically quote unquote like playing well, because the person playing well is just tanking a bunch of stuff, and although they're shooting with better items and stuff, they'll still do less damage than an auto dodger who's getting full mana. So right here, you're getting hit by a bunch of stuff, and especially because there's towers up, you should be focusing on not getting hit. What I would have done here is I would have went to the right here because it's pretty safe right here, and like I noticed that there's a tower on the left here, so this is just a fucked up situation because of the Pestasis shots and the slashes and the weakened tower. So yeah, I mean these are nice dodges, but they could be better. Also, you're getting weakened. So yeah, this is nice as well. What I would have probably done here, this is just doing it over time, but you just use a bunch of MP pods here and like swap to your O spell. Not only is this good for damage, but by using O spell, you get the defense buff, which will allow you to tank a lot more here. And I would have definitely EP'd longer here because, as you can see, only at this point do the shots converge here. So what we could do is full EP, and then move over like to this direction or here. And another thing is, okay, so look at this. It guards right here, but think about this. If you were fully sitting on him, he would have guarded sooner. This is what a lot of people don't think about. If you would have just sat on him, he would have guarded like probably a second earlier because you're the one like just pumping the fuck out of him, right? And this will help with tanking more. So like by tanking, you don't have to do the phases longer, and this is really where like top damage and like doing a lot of damage as a player can really impact the run, like especially in phases like staggers or guards. Okay, so this is a bit early of an O spell, and yeah, you don't need to be swapping an EP here. Wait, because you're not. I mean, you're never gonna hit this EP, so you could just be using your O spell and then just getting a better timing on it. So yeah, you're not hitting your O spell because of the vulnerability there. Okay, so what I've noticed in this gameplay so far is that you're not using your Dom spell at all. I don't think you've used it a single time, and right here would be a perfect moment because Dom spell is the most OP item that a wizard has. It does around 10 to 12k each ability for 120 mana. That's about that's about 2 more times than tablet, and pretty sure it's 1.5 to 2 more times than O spell. So you could be using a Dom spell right here for 120 mana. This is also another reason why mana conserving is really good. So you use your Dom spell here, right? And by the time your cooldown runs off, actually here, we'll calculate this. Okay, so let's say you use one O spell and it lands, and then right away you swap to your O spell, or to your Dom spell instead of your Parry spell. Look, it's 149, so we'll go to 153. So at 153, you'd be able to start using your O spell already. But what you did instead is you did an O spell, and then you swapped a pair, and then you dumped your pair. Pair is the lowest amount of damage per mana that you have on any of these spells. Tablet does around 5 more damage per mana than pair spell. So you dumped a bunch of pairs on here, when instead you could have used a Dom spell and then used probably 2 or 3 O spells on this stagger, which is really nice. And it would have been perfect for you as well, because it goes to Celestial after this. So that would be the perfect use of mana in that situation. So lesson for that phase is just use your Dom spell, bro. You need to use your Dom spell in a lot of phases that you can. Okay, so what Feixiaoo did just now is he used a pair spell like right before Celestial, which is good because it activates your Vesher spell. It activates your Vesher buff. Okay, it's an alright Celestial. Nice, this is good tracking. Yeah, this is good swap usage and tracking with the Superior and then into him. Okay, so the only thing that I see that like you really want to improve in your Celestial is not being scared of this final shotgun. So as you can see, you run all the way back here and then you have a little stop. You could actually just run with him. So let's say at this point you could just run up. Boom, 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 run up. And you'll be hitting your Superior better here. Okay. Nice, good. So right here again, you could be using pair spell. It depends on how much mana you have. I see your pet's giving you 41, so it's not 100 M heal. But so in that case especially, what I would do is just use your Dom spell here. And although towers will go up, depending on your group size, you'll have a fine amount of mana for the next phase. Okay, yeah, this is nice. This is what I teach a lot of people to do as well, which is drag crumples on the outside. And I don't actually see many people do it, but I can tell like by your gameplay already that like you would just watch a bunch of my videos. Because like I barely see anyone doing this, but this is if you're ever in the situation where you have the crumple drag, you should be dragging it on the wall because it's so much easier to dodge, especially the pet stasis shots, and there's not as many lightning beams on you. So yeah. This is nice. Great. And it's perfect dodging actually on the Fury Melts. That's exactly how I would have dodged it as well. Nice, perfect. It's just, I mean, that's just crazy. You have very good awareness here, and you guys got lucky with the second Celestial, so. Alright, this is nice. So, one thing I will say though is for Exalted Shield Bash, this is the easiest thing that you can do right here because it's always the same way how O3 goes. O3 will always, let's see. So, you see how he staggered here and then for a split second, he just walks up for what, I don't even know why this happens, but like he just decides to position himself like up. As you can see, he just went up. As you can see, he just goes up. I don't know why, but because of this, you can actually just go on top of him, and you'll see me do it in a lot of my gameplays, and you can just shield bash it. It's the freest one. This is the one that everyone mainly does, and I can already see on the map, if you can see where my cursor is, that there's people doing it, so. Okay, so you could EP pair spells, or pair, okay, I don't know why I call this pair, but Panic and Scream. You could EP Panic and Scream much longer, and you could also side EP this actually, and tank. You could just leave as soon as you take damage. That's the safest way to get the most damage out. Okay, let's see. I mean, what I would have done here, did fine, but I will say that it looks like it was just RNG, and the safest place to be in this position is just the middle. Especially since he's not doing anything, and then you could have canceled him after. Nice. Perfect. I mean, yeah, this is really good gameplay. I gotta say, between this and Weight Rows, I actually think that this might be the best gameplay on TAU reviews right now. Or at least, I mean, you have the craziest potential I've ever seen, actually. The craziest potential for sure. Out of anyone I've reviewed or anyone I've actually seen. Like, I can already tell that if you were to play for, like, 2 to 3 months, like, you'd be a top wizard, maybe even better than me. So, yeah, I would give this guy comp for sure, and, yeah. If you liked the video, just press like, press subscribe, and, you can DM me on Discord if you want to get reviewed yourself. Thank you. See ya.